I'm Rob
Okay.
Port with SayAnythingBlog.com. I'm here with Senator Jerry Klein, who introduced an amendment who, as of the time of this recording, actually just passed on the floor of the state Senate, which would clarify existing law regarding to whether or not workers involved in labor disputes are entitled to unemployment benefits. And Senator Klein, I wanted you to tell me about what motivated this, and I guess from my perspective, saying that that this is clarifying the law is important because a lot of people are sort of looking at existing law and wondering how it is that the state Supreme Court got to its conclusion that unemployment benefits are justified in the instance they were considering for American Crystal workers was justified under existing laws. So this basically is a clarification of existing law. Is that correct?
Rob, yeah, and thanks for having me here. But yeah, it's always been the belief of North Dakota Job Service that lockout workers were not eligible for unemployment benefits. It's always been the belief. There's been a couple of rulings that suggested that was the case. So it came as a real surprise when the justices, by a split decision, of course, 3-2, it suggested that a lockout was not specific to the law, so thus they should be able to get unemployment compensation. So, having said that, one of the mentions that Chief Justice Vanderwall had said in this dissent said something to the effect that the legislature needs to clarify this. And that is what this amendment did, was just say it now includes the word lockout. Now, we're not taking this law any different, any farther from what we've always believed to be the case. So, there certainly shouldn't be any uproar over that. The idea here is clarification. There's also been a lot of discussion, and I'm just going to get ahead of myself here, that this is retroactive, and it's not. It's totally my understanding that the workers that were affected by the lockout are now eligible for unemployment benefits, and that we cannot look back and retroactively take that away. So those workers will be eligible. American Crystal will be having to pony up the difference to make their unemployment fund whole again, and we're going to move on from there. So that is why the amendment was introduced. It certainly isn't introduced to do anything other than clarify the law.
I wanted to ask you a question. During the floor debate, it was brought up the impact that this would have on unemployment insurance premiums. I think Senator Andrus had mentioned a figure like $26 per employee. Was that just for American Crystal, or was that a sort of statewide impact?
Well, and it's going to depend on how this all shakes out. At the maximum, this could be a $4 million hit to the fund. But we aren't exactly sure which workers found work or have been unemployed for 26 weeks or less. So there's a lot of ifs out there yet.
So setting aside the question of a specific dollar amount, there's going to be some level of impact. Is that going to impact all employers statewide?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, Rob, you hit on it. We can only raise the rate to American Crystal at a particular level over a particular amount of time to recoup that money. But in the meantime, we need to make sure the fund stays solid, and in doing so would mean that there will be a little bit of an assessment to all employers across the state of North Dakota. It may not be a lot, but according to what I've heard from Job Service, that in order to get the fund back to the level that's necessary, it's going to probably impose a bit of a fee, a bit of a charge to all of us. All of us meaning the fact that I am a small merchant, and we all get to share in this. But overall, it's going to be a huge hit to the American Crystal Fund, and for them to get their rating and their percentage back down, their fee, they're going to have to either pony up a huge amount of money to make their fund solid, which will help them lower their rate again. But we can't collect all that at one big swoop, because it certainly will be devastating price for them to pay, I believe. But that's kind of how it's my understanding. That's how it's been explained to me, that's how it's going to work.
Just to be absolutely clear, this amendment that passed in the Senate today, should it go on and become law, that would not be retroactive to the American Crystal employees. That matter's settled, correct?
That, as far as I understand, we are looking prospectively, not retroactively, and that in the future, if there's ever a lockout, that it would be clear that we as a legislature don't intend to meddle in labor disputes, and that we are a right-to-work state, and we want to remain neutral. But we want to say that lockouts are not allowable for unemployment compensation.
Matt,
but it's my understanding that all those workers that are currently or were working for American Crystal are eligible for benefits.
Map out for us the path forward from this for this law now with the amendment going forward. How many more steps until it becomes law?
Well, this was the amendment, and tomorrow the bill will be on the floor, and we'll probably hear the debate again. And as we move forward with that debate, then the bill needs, if it passes the Senate, the House will get an opportunity to decide if they want to look at it any farther. If they do or if they don't. If they don't, there is that ability for them to concur to the Senate amendments, and then the bill would go to the governor's office.
All right, Senator, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Rob, thank you. Send me a note anytime.